Next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, Supreme Court shoots down applications seeking to halt the processes against the removal of the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu.
Ghana Police Service to invite minority leader Alexander Appenyo-Markin to assist with investigations into the alleged assault of a police officer.
And later in the bulletin, 3 Chinese nationals kidnapped during a pirate attack on fishing vessels in March this year, rescued after a month in captivity.
Coming up in business news, bill to review taxes and levies on imported vehicles and equipment for industrial and agricultural purposes to be laid before Parliament.
On the international front, Sudan cuts diplomatic ties with the United Arab Emirates after accusing the Gulf nation of backing the rival Rapid Support Forces in the country's civil war. We have details of all these stories and more, and certainly we're going to start from the big one, which has to do with developments from the Supreme Court earlier today. And the Supreme Court has, in a 3-2 majority decision, refused an application by Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Asifua, seeking to halt the processes against the removal of the Chief Justice. The court had earlier overruled 2 objections by lawyer for the MP Godfrey Yeboah-Dame against the acting Chief Justice Bafo Boni, citing who has been sitting on the panel, and the reconstitution of a new panel hearing the case. Lord Edwasare reports.
Former Attorney General and lawyer for the Old Tafo legislator, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, sought to get the acting Chief Justice to recuse himself from hearing the matter, citing the interest of justice. He intimated that although Justice Bafo Boni was the most senior justice of the Supreme Court, the determination of the matter will affect his status, and as such he should refrain from the case for the administration of justice and public confidence in the judiciary. But Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai disagreed. He argued that the views of the former AG were misconceived, adding that the assumption of Justice Bafo Boni acting as Chief Justice was not for personal benefit, but for duty. In the end, the 5-member panel of justices overruled the objection by unanimous decision. The Apex Court also overruled another objection by Godfrey Yeboah-Dame after he sought to challenge the reconstitution of a new panel hearing the matter. 3 new justices, including the acting Chief Justice, were reconstituted into the existing panel. The rest are Emmanuel Yonukulendi and Amadou Tanko. The former AG withdrew the injunction application seeking to prevent the President from forwarding the petition to the Council of State in the determination of the prima facie against the Chief Justice. On the substantive matter seeking the revocation of the warrant suspending the Chief Justice, Godfrey Dame argued that the President ought to have notified the CJ of the petitions against her and taken her response before proceeding with the consultation process, and urged the court to reverse the order to suspend her. Dr. Sremsai, however, opposed the former Attorney General. He noted that Gertrude Tokonu was heard before a case was established against her, leading for the issuance of warrants for her to step aside. After hearing arguments, the court refused the application by the Old Tafo MP and struck out the second suit filed by the second plaintiff, Emmanuel Osei Owusu. The full reasoning of the court will be made available on May 21.
With a decision by the Apex Court, the committee set up to investigate the petition asking for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu can now proceed without any impediments. We'll see what their decision will be once the investigations are done. Lord Igasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Meanwhile, former Attorney General Gabor and his client, Old Tafo Member of Parliament, have been reacting to the outcome of their suit. Meanwhile, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai maintains the decision of the court reinforces their position.
The producer is of this country. We've never seen any development like that before. Whenever there's a dispute as to the state of the Chief Justice in this country, start from 1980 for an Attorney General. Start from 1994 happened, and we go to 2005, thereabout JT Medor, the Chief Justice in question, and panel the court, but never sat on the matter. I mean, so it cannot be right for the Chief Justice to sit on the matter. But that's it. We will see the 3-2 ruling, very narrow decision. We'll wait for the reasons. When the reasons come, we'll definitely advise ourselves.
To fall versus Attorney General clearly tells you that in reading the Constitution, you have to do so by the letter and the spirit. If anybody tells you that because something has not been clearly stated in the Constitution, for that matter, it has no potency, I am telling you that that is not the case.
Decisions of the court today really confirms what we have been saying all this while, that there is no legitimate, legal, constitutional basis for all these processes that the former Attorney General has filed on behalf of Honorable Asiedu. Today you notice that even injunction, they had 2 injunctions on the record, and when they were asked, they quickly withdrew one and allowed the other, which is clearly an abuse of the court process. To keep filing processes with the hope that one of them will stand is really not a good practice for a lawyer to do, and that is what happened.
In a related development, the Third Force Alliance Ghana, a coalition of political parties, has lauded the suspension of the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. According to the group, the decision marks a significant win for democracy.
We are sufficiently convinced that those who received this decision in good faith and in high spirits quite outweigh and outnumber the NPP and its allies and surrogates, who appear to be on the wild goose chase. Little wonder, therefore, that the much publicized and advertised demonstration held yesterday was a monumental flaw and reflective of the sunken image of the new patriotic party as witnessed in the results of the 7th December 2024 elections. President Mahama has reminded us of the real essence of leadership. It is not about titles or applause, but about responsibility and action. The suspension of the Chief Justice is not a celebration of anyone's downfall. It is a celebration of constitutionalism. It is a moment where Ghana affirms that even the judiciary, the last hope of the common man, must be guarded against perception of impropriety and public mistrust.
In more news tonight, the former secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu, and another person have been granted a 200,000 cedi bill, each with 2 sureties. The High Court on Tuesday ordered them to also deposit their passports to the court's registry. This follows charges leveled against them by the special prosecutor in connection with illegal mining operations.
The office of the special prosecutor slapped 15 counts of corruption charges against Charles Bisu and one Andiosu for allegedly using public office for personal gains. The OSP alleges that Bisu abused his position as secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining by accepting 15,000 cedis to circumvent established procedures guiding mining operations. Through his action, according to the charge sheet, Charles Bisu is also alleged to have unlawfully fast-tracked the renewal of mining permit for specific reasons. Appearing before the Criminal Court 4 on Tuesday, both accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charges. The court admitted them to bail, setting the bond at 200,000 cedis bail each with 2 sureties. However, one of the sureties must be justified. The matter has been adjourned to 29th May 2025 for a case management conference, a procedural step designed to streamline the trial process and set timelines. Legal representatives declined to comment after the sitting.
And so Charles Bisu on 29th April 2025 issued a statement on this matter, and he asserted that he had always complied fully with the legal and ethical frameworks that guided the position he held. And so any claims of misconduct were baseless and would be fought vigorously following due process, after which he submitted his plea in the court on Tuesday. As part of the bail conditions, both accused persons are to submit their passport at the registry of the court and also report themselves to the office of the special prosecutor once every month. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Accra High Court.
So on the back of the Save the Judiciary demonstration yesterday, some altercation took place and the Ghana Police Service has waded in. So what we know is that the Ghana Police Service has officially initiated steps to compel the Speaker of Parliament to release Minority Leader Alexander Peñomarkin to assist with investigations into the alleged assault of a police officer. Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP Lydia Donko, says the decision follows a thorough review of various video footages, including one captured by the police media team.
I believe that we also, or there are videos in social media about an altercation or confrontation that happened during the demonstration. We captured it on our lenses as well. So it's a matter of investigation. If it's an assault, if it's a tussle or a confrontation, whatever it is called, it has to be investigated. So we've commenced that investigation. We've written to the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament because he's a sitting member of Parliament. We've identified the police officers who were on duty at the scene. We have taken statements and we'll definitely update you in due course. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Minority Leader Alexander Peñomarkin has petitioned the Inspector General of Police to investigate an officer, Constable Forson, who he alleges assaulted him during the Save the Judiciary demonstration on Monday, May 5. The Futu MP also wants a disciplinary action to be taken against the officer. In a letter addressed to the office of the IGP on May 6, he said, quote, "I hereby formally petition your office to investigate and take appropriate disciplinary action against Constable Forson, a tall, fair and heavily built officer who was stationed at the entrance of Parliament House to provide security during the Save the Judiciary demonstration."
Still on security-related matters, the Ghana Police Service says it is ready to provide security for the Electoral Commission to complete the collation and declaration of parliamentary results in the Ablekuma North constituency. At a news conference, the Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP Lydia Donko, stated that once the Electoral Commission signals readiness to proceed, the police will not hesitate to offer necessary security support.
The election collation, as Director Public Affairs said, if the EC is ready, we are always ready to provide the security. So I believe that they will take it up with the Inspector General of Police, but the service is always ready to provide the needed security supports for any exercise, whether it's the EC or any other institution.
Well, still at the briefing, the 3 Chinese nationals kidnapped during a pirate attack on fishing vessel MV Mehin 1 in Ghana's territorial waters in March this year have been rescued after a month in captivity. The police say the trio were abandoned along a riverbank at an undisclosed location in Delta State, Nigeria. Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department has been providing updates on this and other related criminal incidents.
On March 27, 2025, pirates attacked a fishing vessel in Ghana's territorial waters, taking 3 Chinese national crew members hostage. Investigations revealed that the vessel was targeted by armed criminals aboard a wooden outboard-powered boat, wielding sophisticated weapons. The pirates also destroyed all communication devices installed on the vessel. According to police reports, following a 24-hour voyage, the hostages were abandoned at a marshy river bank in an unidentified location in Nigeria's Delta State. The traumatized victims reportedly wandered through the dense bush until they reached a village where locals assisted them in contacting the Chinese embassy in Abuja. Director General of the Police CID, COP Lydia Donko, corroborated the information.
The police has been investigating this case as well, and so far 4 people, the boatswain Clever, Victor Kojo Akwali, Eugene Chubuke Mwonam, Chinese cook Zhao Langhang, and second engineer Zhao Hua have been arrested in connection with the case and have been put before the Tema District Court while investigation continues.
COP Lydia Donko also provided an update on the case involving 2 Ghanaian women who were kidnapped in Nigeria. She disclosed that 8 individuals, including a local mobile money vendor and a telecommunications staff member, have been arrested and are currently facing prosecution. Police say the 2 women were lured into Nigeria through a romance scam, only to be held hostage, stripped naked, and subjected to severe trauma. The kidnappers demanded a ransom of 500,000 cedis from the relatives of each victim. Authorities tracked the mobile money numbers provided for ransom payment, leading to the arrest of suspects in both Nigeria and Ghana. The Nigerian suspects are said to be members of QNet, a group known for its involvement in human trafficking. Both the Nigerian kidnappers and the Ghanaian victims are currently in the custody of the Nigerian police in Abuja.
We have, through our Interpol office, written to our counterparts in Abuja. They have received the request. It's being worked on, and I believe that very soon we would be receiving them. So as and when they come, I believe we'll inform the media and especially their families. We are in touch with their families as well. So hopefully it should be very soon.
In a separate development, police have arrested 5 individuals believed to be connected to the murder of 5 persons at Asiedu near Insaum in the eastern region. Preliminary investigations point to a violent clash between 2 rival sound-winning groups in the area. At the crime scene, police retrieved a Toyota Tacoma vehicle, 4 cartridge shells, and the bodies of the 5 victims. Through the vigilance of police personnel from the Western Central Command, the suspects were intercepted and arrested while attempting to flee to Bordia in the Wasser-Kropon area of the Western region. The bodies have since been deposited at the police hospital morgue for autopsy and preservation. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, sextortion scams are on the rise in Ghana, with victims losing nearly 500,000 Ghana cedis in just 4 months. Experts warn that this cybercrime trend is growing, urging the public to stay vigilant and use technology responsibly.
A world where cybercrime has become the new norm and people connect through screens more than through handshakes, a new form of threat lurks behind the glow of every device. The same technology that empowers our conversations, finances, and daily routines now hosts a silent predator.
They give you a contact, even with a foreign number that you can reach out to. So they start sending you bits of things like smartwatch. Today they would send you this because I'm a very popular person, so I don't want to show my face. But once you start receiving the gifts, so you will also be made to believe that you are in fact speaking with a supposed white man or rich man. Can I see your nude? Can I see this? It was later that she discovered that the number that she was chatting with, the person that she was chatting with and all that, were all here. Some are nationals from, different countries in West Africa.
Recent data from the Cybersecurity Authority reveals a troubling trend. Between January and April 2024, there were 155 reported cases of online blackmail and sextortion resulting in financial losses. However, the same period in 2025 saw a slight increase in reported cases, but a staggering rise in financial losses reaching 499,044 Ghana cedis. A senior lecturer and the head of cybersecurity at the Computer Science Department at the University of Ghana sheds light on how these schemes operate.
They would rather start sending you nude photos, videos. They are even able to hold video calls. There are apps that they usually use that would make you believe that you are talking to someone who is naked or undressed. and sometimes they use other victims. But what we have discovered is that in most cases, you would realize that their mouth is not rhyming with the words that is coming out. If you are not careful and you also start taking off yourselves and then, also trying to be involved, trying to reciprocate what is actually going on, then they end up recording your video and also start using that on you. Majority of them has to do with greed. Most of the victims are not people who are like poor, as in poor. These are people that have, some essentials that they actually need. People who also are so desperate to travel out. There are few instances where someone mentioned, or some people, like two people that I've actually spoken with, said it was a prophecy they had from church, into believing that they will be meeting someone, and then within that short space of time, they had a friend request. People who trust just everyone. Remember that the internet is full of very wicked, evil people. So it's not anything you see online, any request that comes to you and all that you must accept and then believe.
Experts warn that such cybercrimes are likely to increase. It is therefore our personal responsibility to remain vigilant and use technology wisely, tools designed to enhance our lives, not compromise them. Safa Boyni, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's now turn our attention to the health sector, and the Kolebu Renal Unit has resumed dialysis services to renal disease patients after almost 2 weeks of shutdown due to shortage of consumables. TV3 checks at the facility on Tuesday has revealed that patients are already being called and scheduled for their sessions. Here's a report by Sarah Apenkro.
According to the renal disease patients, they haven't had access to the unit for their dialysis sessions since Tuesday, April 29, but emergency services were in force. Close to 200 patients do their dialysis sessions at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They were told there was shortage of consumables. This meant they had to resort to private facilities to get their dialysis done, which they claimed puts undue financial pressure.
This morning, when we came back, trying to find out from them what exactly was going on, and we informed that they are now going for a meeting to ascertain the situation of them. But I think after some hours, most of my patients are going to be called to come back, and I think the unit is working now. As to whether it's going to continue or not, we are yet to find out how it's going to be. We just thank God that for about 2 weeks now, we've not had any bad news. But most of my patients are complaining. Some of them are saying they are bleeding through their nose.
President of the renal disease patients, Kojo Bafwa Hinkra, maintains they are unhappy with the recurrence of the situation, demanding answers.
In fact, personally, I was not expecting to hear some of these things again, because I think last year we had a lot of challenges of this thing, and I was hoping the authorities will set up on this issue, because the question is, do you sit down to say the consumables are finished, you don't even have for the outpatient? It's neither here nor there. I mean, we don't take this excuse. We don't know what is going on, whether it's politics, whether it's real. Somebody needs to come and talk to us and tell us exactly what is going on. These are human lives.
Authorities of the hospital are, however, yet to make an official statement on the situation. Sarah Apenkru, TV3 News, Accra.
National Service Scheme personnel are urging authorities to delay the implementation of the no ID card, no payment policy. The directive recently announced by the government aims to streamline the payroll system and eliminate ghost names to ensure efficiency.
The policy follows the discovery of over 81,885 suspected ghost names on the NSS payroll after a headcount initiative by the Finance Minister. The Director General of the National Service Authority, Felix Jimfi, recently announced the no ID card, no payment policy. Co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Sinanu, commended the initiative introduced by the new Director General, but emphasized the need for thorough monitoring and screening of individuals claiming to work for the government to prevent an inflated payroll.
What's more important is the monitoring on who gets onto the payroll. You need levels of screening. So the payroll is done who does and screens to make cross-check that these persons properly proved to be working for the government of Ghana. I think that preventive actions, after the fact actions, are much more the way to go to ensure that we don't have an overbloated payroll.
Addressing the directive, President of the Tema Metropolitan National Service Personnel Association, NASPA, Oko Oninku Henry, urged authorities to delay the implementation. He suggested the setting up of a National Identification Authority office on various campuses to enable Ghana card registration.
Why can't we station the National Identification Authority's offices on the various university campuses? So if I have a National Identification Authority office in Gimpa campus where I schooled, and as a level 300 to level 400 student, I wasn't able to register, and I come home to do my national service. That means that I don't have the guts to blame anybody if my monthly allowances are not coming. We want to plead with government that I think the Ghana card thing should be held on for some time and make sure that, there are decentralized processes by which we can register.
Meanwhile, former NASPA President Hamidu Ampandago Mahamudu acknowledged the directive but questioned its effectiveness in eliminating ghost names entirely.
I don't think it's the sole measure that can control it. If they want to solve that particular problem, though the Ghana card is good, like that policy is good, but they have to go beyond that to be able to control the situation. I'll urge the personnel to also do well to get their Ghana card.
With the no ID card, no payment directive in place, concerns continue to be raised with some questioning the effectiveness of the Ghana card in addressing payroll discrepancies.
Ghana's lush rainforests continue to shrink under pressure from development and deforestation. A new facility launched in the eastern region is hoping to change that. We Ape Recreational and Mega Zipline, located in Ibri, is combining fun with environmental education to instill a culture of conservation, starting with the next generation.
The facility sits within a preserved area of rainforest, giving visitors the chance to enjoy the forest without disturbing it. One of the core programs is the School Ecological Immersion, which gives students practical lessons in science topics.
Children come here and they are given a practical feel of the science curriculum that they have in school. At the end of the day, they get to also enjoy the adventure course.
We Ape also offers retreats and group packages for families, companies, and outdoor enthusiasts. The goal, according to the founders, is to encourage a culture of conservation that can be passed on through experience.
We will need to conserve the environment. You agree with me that so many of us didn't grow up with that culture of conservation. The owners or the founders' intent is that we will begin to teach children how to enjoy the environment, and then they become people who would conserve the environment.
The designer of the facility emphasized that safety and quality were top priorities in developing the adventure park. All structures, including the zip lines and rope courses, were built to meet international safety standards.
I choose the cable that can carry 2,000 kilo. The cable that used by the military in helicopter in bringing the tank, the trail, that's the cable I use. And for the safety, it was properly checked, carefully checked, all the safety that we have here.
This is still News 360 on TV3. We have many more stories for you, including an update of that important Champions League game when the sports team do join us. Welcome back to News 360. Let's do business now. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, has announced that a bill to review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported for industrial and agricultural purposes will be laid before Parliament when the House resumes sitting. This move aims to fulfill President John Mahama's campaign promise to scrap taxes within his first 120 days in office.
The review seeks to reduce the cost of food production, thereby driving down food inflation across the country. The Minister, Eric Opoku, expressed optimism that the proposed bill, when passed, will significantly boost the agricultural sector. This is expected to support government's effort to stimulate economic growth and development.
It's being worked on. As soon as Parliament reconvenes, that will be laid for Parliament for approval and it will be handled. If you do that, every farmer, wherever you are located in this country, will have access to agricultural mechanization.
In line with its agricultural policies, the minister further revealed that government hopes to establish 25 farmer service centers across the country to supply farmers with the necessary equipment to enhance their operations.
These centers are to serve as one-stop shop for all the farmers in the district. We are going to have tractors there. We are going to have combine harvesters, plowers, and all the equipment that the farmers will require for their farming activities at the center. Then we have the improved seeds. We have the fertilizers. Then we have the agricultural extension officers on their motorbikes at the center. So if the farmer goes to the center and then indicates to the center that, oh, I want tractors for my farming activities, even if the farmer doesn't have money, the center will release the tractors to go and work for him. And then when they harvest, then they take some of the crops to pay off the debt.
In more business news, government has set a target to reduce Ghana's unemployment rate to under 5% from the current 14.7%. This goal aligns with the recently announced plan to triple non-traditional export earnings to at least $10 billion by the end of 2030. Speaking at the seat of government, President Mahama emphasized the necessity of transitioning towards an import substitution and export-led economy to generate sustainable employment opportunities for the country's youth.
We will support our private sector partners to invest in agro-processing and light manufacturing. In the textiles industry, where 75% of inputs are still imported, we must act to decisively harness the potential of a $6 billion regional market. Ghana has the potential to substantially increase our exports of garments across Africa and to the world. Through targeted incentives and strategic partnerships, we will scale up our local production and participation in this value chain. Our 24-hour economy strategy will complement this ambition by developing focused value chains in cassava, tomato, palm oil, pharmaceuticals, textiles and garments, and industrial machinery. With effective implementation, we are confident that by 2034, Ghana can reduce the national unemployment rate from 14.7% as it currently stands to under 5%.
The Ghana cedi posted its strongest monthly performance this year in April by improved Forex liquidity following targeted interventions by the Bank of Ghana. The local currency's sharp appreciation signals growing market confidence in the central bank's stability efforts.
The Ghana cedi demonstrated significant reliance against major trading currencies in April, following decisive action by the Bank of Ghana to stabilize the forex market. The central bank injected $490 million into the market to ease pressure on demand, a move that analysts say helped calm volatility and restore confidence in the local unit. As a result, the cedi appreciated by 5.3% month-on-month against the US dollar, the highest monthly gain so far this year. This brings the year-to-date gain to 7.44% on the retail market. Against the British pound, the cedi also firmed up, posting a 0.71% appreciation in April, contributing to a 0.79% year-to-date increase. It held relatively steady against the euro, slipping by just 0.3% during the month and narrowing its losses against the European currency to 1.83% for the year. The central bank's interventions reflect ongoing efforts to stabilize the local currency amidst global economic uncertainties and seasonal demand for Forex.
Ghana's official gold reserve has soared to 31.37 tons as of April 2025, nearly 4 times the stockpile recorded in May 2023. The Bank of Ghana says the sharp increase is part of its effort to strengthen the cedi and diversify foreign reserve holdings by purchasing more domestically mined gold.
Ghana is fast building its gold reserves, reaching 31.37 tons by the end of April this year, up from just 8.78 tons in May 2023. The Bank of Ghana attributes this sharp rise to its domestic gold purchase program, which aims to reduce the country's dependence on traditional foreign currencies and strengthen the local economy. A key driver of this policy is the Gold Board, an oversight body created under President John Dramani Mahama to regulate and formalize the sale of gold by small-scale miners. Gold Board has been instrumental in recent negotiations with 9 large-scale mining firms, securing a deal for them to sell 20% of their gold production directly into the local market. This has allowed the central bank to accumulate more gold without draining foreign exchange reserves. The strategy not only supports financial stability, but also taps into Ghana's strength as Africa's leading gold producer to boost national development.
Now, stakeholders in Ghana's agricultural sector have called for a robust policy framework to promote sustainable food production in the country. The appeal comes amid growing concerns about the challenges confronting the industry, including inflation, high cost of imported products, and low crop yields.
Stakeholders expressed concerns over the lack of advocacy, leadership, and discipline in sustaining food security efforts. The adoption of technological advancement in farming was encouraged to improve productivity and simplify farming methods. Heads of Agribusiness and Commercial Banking at Stanbic Bank Ghana, Samuel Kamboy, highlighted Stanbic Bank's commitment in financing agricultural businesses.
We have done some bit of work at Stanbic by providing specific financing, for example, to our businesses that are playing in the agriculture sector to acquire modern equipment, go into solar or green energy, go into greenhouse and irrigation schemes. But I believe that if we are doing this from a bigger collaborative view or standpoint as financial institutions, the impact will be greater.
The head of the enterprise risk at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, Professor Francis Achu, expressed concerns about the use of chemicals and insecticides in farming.
In Ghana, we've gotten to a crossroad, looking at extreme weather conditions, looking at how our soil has been degraded as a result of illegal mining, also looking at geopolitics. We have no choice than to transition into sustainable farming. The traditional farming will not help us. Any policy that we must roll out must look at the interconnectedness between these systems, like how the energy we apply on our farms, how we use the land, and then our water systems.
Member of Parliament for Pra East Emmanuel Kwekubuam raised concerns over food inflation in Ghana, which he says is on the rise. The lawmaker called for a review of the conventional way of farming. Graphic Business, in collaboration with Stanbic Bank, aims to promote sustainable food practices and highlight the need for a collaborative effort to address the challenges facing Ghana's agricultural sector.
Now let's look at how the Forex market and the commodities market are faring for the last 24 hours. That's it for business on News 360. Sports is up next.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Kwampofu with the latest in the world of sports. What's ongoing?
What's the Champions League semi-final?
How's it looking?
They almost have 1 foot in the final now. 2-0 on the night, 5-3 on aggregate, and so very good advantage for the Italian side.
Okay.
And we'll be going into the details much later, but let's do some more here and start off with the inter-schools soccer competition, because it's day 2 of the competition in the second D zone, and the excitement is already building with 9 schools battling for glory. The tournament has kicked off in thrilling fashion. Now each day features 8 action-packed matches. That's 4 for the boys and then 4 for the girls. Now, as teams get the opportunity to showcase their skill, passion, and school pride on the field, now as the stakes rise and rivalries ignite, the coming days promises even more drama and unfortunate moments in the celebration of school excellence. My colleague Barack Minter-Brown has more in the following report.
All right, so it's day 2 of the inter-school soccer competition happening here at the Jane Park here in the metropolis. The schools are actually, divided into 2 particular zones, where we have the Takrady zone and then the second D zone. Now, this week, we are having the second D schools compete. 9 particular schools are competing for glory. Schools like second D College, schools like Adiambra Senior High School, schools like Dabuase Secondary Technical School, and then Diabene Secondary Technical School are all competing for glory. It started yesterday, and then Friday we get to climax. We've seen a very interesting match pairings. We've seen girls also, taking up each other and then competing for national glory. It's been a very exciting competition so far. Students have really expressed a lot of excitement for the games, where they look forward to their schools winning the competition
today. And I've been telling the boys and those who interview me that with St. John's, we're always the best. And to beat the best, you have to be the best. And then with the excitement, it's a lot. You can see all people all over around. We're having fun. You can see some of the boys jamming, and most of the boys too. I think they are very happy.
A proud student of 2BB, and Hartman girls, so far, the football will be able to score to Dartey Senior High School. And we should expect very, very well. Right now, the netballers are playing. So right now, we should expect much from our Hartman girls. And right now, we are going to take the cup to our school. Agis, our pride. Agis, the Royals. Agis, the school on the hill of life.
And so there's going to be more of this on our social media handles on TV Sports across all of the social media pages. My name is Barkminster Brown. For TV Sports, 2nd D, Jane Park.
Well, to Europe now, where Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice has lauded teammate Thomas Partey, describing the Ghanaian international as an underrated figure who brings invaluable composure to the squad. Rice's remarks came ahead of Arsenal's decisive Champions League semi-final second leg tie against Paris Saint-Germain, scheduled for Wednesday in France. Partey missed the first leg due to suspension.
Yeah, total calmness. I think playing with Thomas, I've realised that one of the best things about him is on the pitch how calm he is with a football and the calmness he brings to the team. It's really special to play with a player like him. And before I come to Arsenal, there was so much talk about Thomas and how good he is. And not always he gets the recognition he deserves, but playing with him close and training with him every day, for sure, he allows me to be a better player because of the way he plays. And yeah, tomorrow night we're going to need a big performance from him and myself, but also the full 11 that are out there, because it's going to be the biggest night of in this club's history if we can get to the final. So.
Well, Arsenal would be following keenly the first semi-final game between Inter Milan and Barcelona, which is currently half-time. In the second leg, it's Inter who lead by 2-0 through goals from Lautaro Martinez, and then a 46. GH on X for update on the game as well as reactions. My name is Ori Kwampofo. Up next on the Bulletin is entertainment with Anita Kufu.
Welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Kufu, and a winner of Perfect Match Extra Season 2, Tessie says winning the acclaimed TV reality show has positively impacted her life. The fashion designer and influencer told 3 Entertainment that winning the ultimate has unlocked new avenues and opened access to greater opportunities. Martin and Tessie!
Martin and Tessie, affectionately known as Martess, emerged winners of the popular matchmaking reality show Perfect Match Extra in June 2024. Life has been busy for the ambitious fashion designer after her triumph. She's been focused on designing and developing clothing lines and creating a strong brand identity.
Yeah, it's been busy after, because I'm trying to work on my business, trying to put my business out there. At the same time, I'm working on my influencing aspect also. I'm a fashion designer. Thanks to my fans, they've been able to get a shop for me. So I'm running that shop now and making dresses.
Tessie opened up about her plans.
Plan is to expand it, see my designs out there. I mean, I want to see celebrities wearing my design. Delali Ago, the brand.
Barely a year after being crowned PM Extra winner, the influencer has landed several business and brand ambassadorial deals. Tessie, born Theresa Lovelyn Ago, says she owes her growth and steady rise to the exposure given her by TV3 and the PM Extra platform.
TV3 is a very big brand, and PM Extra has given me the platform for brands to see me and to see what I can do and what I bring to the table. And they've been able to reach out to me to work with. I work with a lot of brands actually. It's plenty, like it's been amazing. I am enjoying it.
That's it for the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ikufu. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Anita. Coming up, international news.
Sudan has shut diplomatic ties with the United Arab Emirates after repeatedly accusing the Gulf nation of backing the rival Rapid Support Forces (RSF) in the country's civil war. Sudan's Defense Minister Yassine Ibrahim accused the UAE of violating his country's sovereignty through its proxy, the RSF. The UAE has repeatedly denied allegations that it is giving financial, military and political support to the paramilitary force. The Sudanese ambassador will be withdrawn from the UAE and Sudan will shut its diplomatic missions in the Gulf nation. Conservative leader Friedrich Merz has won a parliament vote to become Germany's next chancellor at the second attempt. Merz had initially fallen 6 votes short of the absolute majority he needed on Tuesday morning, a significant blow to his prestige and an unprecedented failure in post-war German history. There was no indication who had refused to back him. The Catholic Church in Kenya has responded to concerns that the country's only cardinal will not be participating in the election of the next pope because he had not been asked to attend. Following Pope Francis' death last month, senior Catholic leaders known as cardinals who are younger than 80 are eligible to elect his successor. Kenyan Cardinal John Njue, 79, was quoted in a Kenyan newspaper saying he had not been invited. Catholic officials in Kenya later said that he had been invited but was not able to go because of ill health.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu Dartey.
And I am Portia. Gabor. Do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. And also 9 p.m. there's Agenda with Beatrice Edu. Good evening.